Hi everybody, how are you?
Hello.
I'm Chris. That's Kelly, and that's Patrick. If you don't
You
know,
gonna wave?
how are you, Pat? Hi, Pat.
He says no.
Okay. Um,
No.
we're here to talk about our season finale of our Blissful vlog. Um, we're currently at the first part. Well, we're done with it, of course, but we're currently at the first part of our vlog, and we're trying to I guess we're talking about the season one and the whole season finale of what happened on Blissful. And what we got, and I want you guys to share our thoughts on season one, which was season one was pretty interesting. It was a ride for us, and we we went through a lot of ups and downs, but we feel like we came out swinging towards the season finale and the end of the season to show what our series was about. We really felt like we had to prove where we were going and what we were doing was new and fresh and to what we were trying to do. We had RPG together for so many years and we wanted to do something fresh and new for us. And I think this is something that we came up with and a way to keep our love of writing going when our lives are completely different than what they were a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So we really thank everybody for their support and what they've given us that feedback wise to check in because Blissful is a very, 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 very fun world for me and Kelly to go into, and we love it. And we're trying to craft, like I always say, we're trying to craft our universe first and foremost. And now we got the characters into play. Now we're going to craft our universe, and for you to get a feel of what we want to bring that's different and unique to the web serial world. I feel like we had a really good run this year. I feel like we made it.
I do too.
I feel like we made it, and I feel like it's a good feeling to be at this point where we can actually even talk about our season two and what we have planned. Because if you thought season one was crazy, just hold on to your seats because we have a lot more. Great character moments and wonderful. Like we want to bring suspense into the series, and we want to bring danger and a real darkness. We want to have a more gothic feel, and I think that's where we're at with Blissful on season two. It's also a little more fast paced in the stories where we're going, which I really enjoy. You know, it's a little more quicker in what and where we're going and what we're trying to do. And the storylines play out a lot faster. You get a lot more payoff quicker for what the storylines are, you know? And we have a lot of like very various guest stars to help add to the universe, and we really did. We didn't want to. And one thing I do want to say is because it's always a second season fear in any show that they're gonna add all these new characters and you're not gonna know where the hell is my favorites at, you know?
Yeah.
And we really didn't want to do that with our series, but the characters that we do add have a long and lasting effect. And I also want to take into account, I think people should take into account that it's two writers, so the load of a few more added characters is not too much on us. You know, and all these characters do is enhance the storylines of what's already coming. I just really want you guys to stay tuned for season two because I feel like we tried a new way of planning where Kelly plans a certain, or I plan a certain amount, and then Kelly plans a certain amount of episodes, and you really get the gist of a more cohesive and tight season and where it's more unified. And we really want to see how this plays out a little versus us, somebody maybe doing a whole season by themselves. Because sometimes some elements were dropped when we did season one, and some elements were picked up when Kelly wrote it. So and from when I was planning it, and we want to make a way more cohesive story. So we want to just kind of see if this works a lot better for us. And I'll hand it over to Kelly for a second, and then we'll talk about the next thing. I believe is the season finale.
Yeah, I had a good time with season 1. It was a pain, but I think it was a good pain. Like, sorry, my Patrick got my shirt open, but he kind of, like Chris said, it was a long way. Like, I think we started. God, when did our first episode go? Like September of like. That's right. It was like September of 2013, and then like our goal was to like get everything done by like this September. And when we didn't hit that goal, it was a little disheartening. But I think overall, with all the changes we had to do the last year, like we did pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we don't produce like an episode right away, or we don't put something out there, we have very good reason for it.
Yeah.
Like, we always we want our episodes to be strong when we produce them or when we write them, and that's just, we have really high standards, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I want the episode to be perfect before it goes to, I guess, web. I guess another version would be print, but there were certain things that we need to tweak and work, and so I'm glad. And I'm really excited for season 2. I think we decided that next week we're going to start writing it. Probably next week we'll be in at least episode 1, I think.
Could you share your thoughts on it maybe a little bit?
On season 1?
Season 2.
I'm really excited.
Give 5 words.
It's like Dallas meets Revenge meets Game of Thrones. No sense. Like, it's my guilty pleasure.
Adjectives. Give 5 adjectives for
I think it'll be crazy. I think it'll be suspenseful. I think we have some good mystery. I think some of it is very romantic. And I think dangerous is the other word I'd use. It's very, like, gothic-y slash... I don't know, like...
I just really want to... Can we all just clap for Kelly? Because a lot of times I see especially like I read a lot of the older web serials now just to go learn my history of what happened before me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm trying to do at this point, is read a lot of the old serials. I see a lot of them hype certain characters up and hype them up. And then when I finally meet them, it's kind of like a letdown. And I feel like Kelly didn't let fans down with Forbes, and you are going to get a lot more Forbes, and he is even nastier in season 2 than he was in season 1, which is absolutely delicious for Kelly to get to play, and absolutely wonderful for me to get to experience before everybody else, because I'm writing with her.
Thank you.
But it's so cool to see Forbes' character lived up to his hype, and we were even nervous about that, I believe. You know, could he live up to this dangerous character that we kept talking about? And he's been mentioned, I think, from like the 3rd episode on.
Yeah, I think like, the 3rd one. Like, there's been hits that he was coming for everybody.
Yeah, like, it was a long time coming, so we were really, really, like, I guess the word would be nervous, that it wouldn't live up to that hype. And I just really am happy that Kelly took Forbes and she ran with them. She ran with that character, and she didn't stop running until like it was over. And I'm really happy.
He's probably my favorite villain I've ever wrote, and that says a lot, because I've wrote some pretty shitty people.
No, she's wrote some really crazy. The Cape Crusader, rapist, like creepy.
Jessica was crazy on Westlake, but Forbes is like a whole new like bag of delicious cookies.
Well, I don't think Forbes is crazy though. That's the thing.
He's like an evil bastard, and I love it.
He's very calculated, and he's very strategic in how he hurts people, and I think that's really kind of cool to see. But anyway, we're gushing about Forbes. I'm sorry.
Tangent.
We do that a lot.
Tangent.
Okay. I guess we can go into the season finale, because we've kind of gushed, or I can talk about season 2 a little bit real quick.
Okay.
I just really want you guys to hold on to your seatbelts because um, if you've read the first part, because we're recording this, of course, we are finished with the story, the season one, but and you guys should be too if you're reading this because there's a lot of spoilers are going to be dropped now.
Let's spoil everybody.
I just feel like season two will have, like, season one was our setup, and season two is finally when you're going to get to see, like, the bullet go out the gun.
Yes.
And
we don't hold
it's like
back.
we're running with it. And it's nothing that, the stories are faster, the stories are more painful, they're quicker, but we're definitely keeping our long season-wide story arc, something as an overarching effect to me, which is like, this season is the Montgomerys versus the Devonshires versus the Frasers versus the
It's like all-out war. I love it.
This season is kind of like an all-out war. That's the overall thing. Next season will be so like we really are kind of taking a page out of the very Shakespearean and Romeo and Juliet, and we're taking pages from a lot of the old school soap operas with a lot of new school flair. Like, we're doing a faster story with with a lot of old school flair, and it's really fun. I really want to say, you guys hold on to your hats, because from the moment season two kind of jumps off, we start off with one of the best scenes in season two. I think you guys are really gonna enjoy what we have planned, because if you thought this was good, it was kind of just setting up for the stuff we now get to do.
Yes.
And that's the fun part about this. We're finally past the setup of, all of these characters, their motivations, who they are, their alliances, who they don't align with. Now it's time to show you how
it all meshes together.
Slithering and melty this gets. And yes. It's going to be fun. It's really going to be fun. I think, like I said, the overall theme of this season is an all-out bloody war against, it's every family against them for themselves. And it becomes a game of, I would say, a game of chess for a lot of characters and moving the pieces into play. You're going to see, I would say, a very main character get killed. I can spoil that. I'll spoil season two spoiler. You're going to get a really good main character that's going to get killed. Season one, you're going to end with the cliffhanger from hell, but
can't say anything
just stay tuned. I really want to say stay tuned. And I guess we can start talking about the season one finale. And how about we can go into that? Kelly, you want to kick it off? I've been rambling on and on.
It's okay. I worked really hard on this finale. Honestly, the last 4 episodes were probably my favorite to plan. Just because, like, they were so... It takes place over New Year's Eve, and I've always kind of thought, like, New Year's Eve is supposed to be, like, this fun celebration, but there's this, like, impending sense of doom in, like, every scene.
Yeah.
That I guess I can tell them about the finale, because, like, they've already read it, but...
Yeah.
Like... And I know this was one scene that we changed on, 30 with Cell, and I'll talk about the music in a minute, too, but anyway.
Yeah, I think fans are wanting to know about our music. So we can go from radioactive into
okay. For episode 27... Oh, I have to put my phone to look at this because I don't have the slide up in front of me.
Well, the first scene is Talia's.
Yeah.
Is Talia's big... I guess it's the break-in
the break-in,
of the Fraser
yes.
estate. And when we wrote this, we knew where we were going with this whole story. We didn't know, actually. I will be honest. When we wrote this, we didn't know what ramifications exactly Fools was going to bring to the town, but we knew that we had to have him come and something horrible happen.
Yeah.
Just to announce that he was here. Like, I don't think his voice was enough. We knew that he needed to attack. And we looked at our characters and we knew that we wanted to do something daring. And the first thing we did was when we looked at the Russian roulette of what was happening leading up to our season finale, we said which characters can we put in the most grave,
And
and
Talia was the obvious choice because she was like playing both sides, and she just got caught
Talia
up.
was the big choice, and as you see, like it leads to her finding something, which is going to be of utter importance. I want everybody to
Go read that scene again if you didn't.
Yeah, like I want everybody to remember this backpack that Talia finds because later on the line it will be of grave importance. I know fans are gonna be like,
why did she have all that crap?
To a backpack? No, it's more of the backpack is. It signifies something inside of there, and it's going to be a very interesting piece of Danny's puzzle. And I think some fans are starting to guess is like Walter, her dad.
Ooh.
Well, we're not saying yes.
We're not giving that away.
Telling, and there's definitely some secrets that are going to be coming out very soon with that story. Well, not very soon, but it's going to be
I think we kind of hint on some stuff in the finale, but not.
Well,
that comes out way later.
Yeah, it's more of a down the line story, but we're setting.
But it's important. Keep that in mind.
But it's not far down the line,
yes.
like Kelly said. So we're setting the groundwork for this, and in season 2, you're gonna get a big piece of that mystery, I guess you'll say. You can go on, and I'll do 28, Kelly. You can just talk about it and ask me stuff. 27, but since I already had it up, I guess I'll talk about it first.
Are you gonna do 27 then or 28?
I'll do 28.
Okay, so Radioactive by Imagine Dragons. I really want to use it for a really long time.
I think she did.
And I felt like every scene in 27 was pretty significant to the song meaning of like rebirth and finding yourself. Like, I don't know. It's a really great song, and I've seen them live, and they're a great band, just so you all know. So the opening scene with Talia and Dylan, and when she calls Devin, was really important. I think we wrote that one really fast. Like, that was one of the more quicker scenes to write because there was some action happening, and
yeah, there wasn't as much dialogue.
Yeah,
stuff happening.
And I know, like in season 2, going into it, you'll still get the character perspective, but we're trying to add more dialogue, more interaction to things. And I think that was more, like Chris said earlier, implementing season 1 as our basis, and season 2 is like, I guess the springboard is what you'd call it.
Yeah, I think you really get to see what the series. I mean, we're still gonna have the character driven, but because that's what we are. We're character driven.
We will never be plot driven.
But I think we want to add some more of the quicker fillings of some of the scenes that we don't need to take out a longer time, and we're learning how to do that.
Like we kind of analyze the scene now and say, oh, this should be cut shorter or be longer, and then kind of play it by ear. I think we kind of realize that not every scene needs to be like, 6 pages long normally?
Yeah.
Our episodes are really big, so that you all know too. Scene 2 was John and Danny. That was like the first time they talked since like the whole entire like She Picked Jackson. And yes, fans, you may want to pay attention to that story in season 2.
Oh my god. Okay, keep going.
I'm really excited to like get to like the blowout at the end of the season into season 2 because I think it'll be really good. I can't wait to blow off for season 2 because we could talk about. I just can't wait to talk about. I don't want to say too much, and then everybody's like, "What? No, what? Huh?" I don't want to give no spoilers away, but go ahead. I'm sorry. That's okay. Audrey's scene with her children, I thought was really well done, and we got a lot of positive feedback on that. Audrey's kind of been like there. She hasn't like really. I guess fans thought this was like her big turning point, so I do want to say Chris did a really good job with that. Like, it was a perfect setup to show some pretty dark crap happened to her after like Lowell got rid of her and Forbes tossed her aside. So I was really excited, and I thought that the song fit really good with that too, with her.
Actually, if I can talk, that scene actually the song really motivated that scene, and it took me to another place with that song. So Kelly was great with that. So I knew that this was Audrey's moment for fans to get to a glimpse inside of her beside what you had seen is the superficial bitch ex-wife stereotype, you know.
Yeah.
And I knew that I wanted everybody to get that feeling, but keep going. I'm sorry. Just
No, that was good. Next scene was Ryan and Whitney, and I really liked this scene. I thought it was a little bit lighter, and we needed to have like at least one light scene there because the rest of the episode's pretty dark and depressing. But I like that they're having a baby, and I like the fact that they're both like. Maybe it's because when Dan and I had Patrick, we were kind of this way. Like Dan was an overprotective, like crazy person, and I thought that was fun to play that with Ryan. And Chris plays Whitney all, oh, it's fine, I'll go on tour. And anyway, I thought it's going to be a really good year for them in season 2. I want to talk about season 2. Next vlog. Anyway, so that was a really good scene. I liked writing it. That one went really quick too.
Yeah, it was fast. It was fun. It was a really fun thing.
And Ryan's parents, I love his parents. They're just like...
Yeah, they're really fun. The parents are really fun little guest characters that we bring on in and out, and we love doing that. So if you like that those little quick moments with the other characters, we're gonna keep those in.
Yeah.
So they're gonna actually happen a lot more frequent. Actually. Yeah.
Hunter, Max, and Philip was probably like my favorite scene to write because I've been dying to write it for like all season, and I don't care if Hunter was a jerk to her. She so deserved it. And I think we got some feedback and everyone thought it was really good. Like, About Time, and Max, like, crumbles, and it was awesome. And I did listen to this song on repeat when we wrote it. So y'all know. Yes, I enjoyed this scene. I thought it was dark. And, again, like, the finale is, like, everything we've done throughout season 1, like, catapults.
Yeah.
And
it's like an explosion of season 1.
Yes, it's very explosive.
It's Casey and Tess.
I know. Yes, readers, we ripped your heart out. Yes, it wasn't intentional. Fans really like Casey and Bliss, but the plan all along was that he was working for Tess, her crazy mother. Yeah. But I don't think Casey's a bad person. He has his reasons. Not. So I like that it was that dark, ominous feel of... Oh, and then Tess gave him the death kiss, too. Gross.
Yeah. Tess is...
I love Tess.
We've gotten a lot of good feedback on Tess.
Tess is awesome.
She's really fun to play. She has this definitely dark humor, and it's really fun to play her because she's this over-the-top, crazed harpy.
Yes.
And she does whatever she wants, and she kisses, she touches, she takes whatever she wants, and I think that's who Tess is, and I think it's really creepy. But okay.
Jackson and Kat, and I thought this scene got a lot of good feedback too. Thank God for wrapping it up. Yes, the end.
The end is coming.
The end is coming.
The caddis is ended.
I have a really bad joke with that, but I won't say it.
Don't say it.
Anyway, yes, fans despise the storyline, but they were really glad about Jackson's scene here, and I thought, again, I thought Radioactive worked really good here too. Mm-hmm. Like, given his past and everything, I thought was really good. Anyway, and Chris did an excellent job. Anyway.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What was it?
It's Braden, I think, next.
I have to look. I'm like reading on my phone, sorry, people.
It's Braden and Selena.
Oh, that's right! Yes, Braden cheated, and I'm okay with that as his writer. Mainly because he...
Finally, Talia got some booty. Thank God.
Selena got some booty. It wasn't Talia. But
anyway. I mean, Selena, excuse me.
Like,
we've been
building this moment, like, pretty much since, like, their first scene together where they're like, oh, we're breaking up, and like, oh, we can't. Now he's with Talia, and then the fake, like, the engagement part was the best part of the episode to me, where he's like, no, my son's an idiot. Anyway. And, fans really appreciate that they finally had sex, and it was hot and steamy and epic. And, it needed to have... I don't think it beats 26, but...
Jenny's naughtiness, but you know.
Anyway, our 50 Shades of Blissful. Anyway, good joke. Anyway, but I felt the scene was really needed when I planned it. That they kind of just combust because that's their pattern. Like that's what they do, and for the ramifications of 30, it does play well into season 2.
Yeah.
Oh, you brought me a book. Technically, Food Network magazine, if you're all wondering.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm talking to Chris.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry, baby distraction. Oh,
Forbes.
Oh,
okay. I love this scene.
I do too.
Forbes is the most rotten bastard I've ever played. Don't repeat that. But
shut.
okay, go read your book. I really like playing Forbes, and I want to show that he knows everything.
No.
Like literally, he knows everything.
Hey.
If you all remember in episode 10, when Greer decided that
David was a little boring.
David was a little boring, and Jackson and Danny were in their little tiff over sex. Her and Jackson decided to partake in the hotel penthouse that, oh, by the way, Forbes bought them. Bought her and David. And Forbes decided to have some cameras installed. And I think my favorite part, like, when we were writing this, like, we talked about this at length, how he's just, like, eating this scallop and, like, owning Greer, and she's just like, what the hell now do I do?
It's always fun to see Greer against a wall because you know she's gonna come out scratching. So it was really fun to write that. That was probably my favorite.
It was my favorite scene to write, hands down. Like I felt like you feel like that Forbes is just like, oh my god, he like is out for everybody. Like every single Devonshire, like he has something on them or he knows something about them, and it's very. He's a heartless bastard. I like playing him. Don't repeat that. Patrick has a cold. Sorry, people.
No.
No, you don't?
No.
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 Sorry, I have to look at what the last one was.
Oh, Dave. I mean, it's
Chris is keeping track.
Jack.
it's Audrey.
Oh, Audrey and Lowell. This was like another, well, child, really good scene.
Oh.
It's Patrick's thoughts on it. Ow! It was catty and it was like hissy and it was long overdue that Lowell got like, oh my god, like not only do I have Forbes coming after me, my ex-wife from hell is in town. And she's published this like
it was
tell
one of those moments where Forbes Lowell was like, I can't get any worse than this.
Yes.
Any worse than this.
And I think we'll touch about that when we talk about 30 on how we wanted to end the season like that in a way that he feels defeated. And yes, that is my entire thought on 27. You may go at 28.
All right, are you ready for 28?
Shoot.
Okay, as you see, my bad, Katy Perry.
I love this song, by the way, everybody.
Impersonation. It was a woman scorn song, and I think one of the standout moments of this episode was a woman who was absolutely scorned, and she's not having it anymore. And I think you guys got to her, and her name is Crazy Ophelia. We can officially call her Crazy Ophelia.
We can.
She's cutting people, cut your bitches.
Not only that, Forbes picks her up right for the picking. So
okay, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. The first scene was Tess and Jackie, which was really fun to finally write.
Yes, long time coming.
Tess kind of like was like a cat on a little baby.
Cat on a baby.
She was like a cat on a baby mouse. It was just sad. She just was nipping at Jackie. It really was a sadder scene actually for us to write because you end up really feeling for Jackie, not Tess, which is the odd part of it out. And I really like Rory had a moment of saying, "Hey, Mom, you know,
what's going on?"
What's wrong? What's
Good.
going on? And
Right.
I really like that scene, and I really wanted
Hello?
Rory to be the kid who kind of overheard all this mess,
Hello?
so he can try to fix it. And in his head, he can fix it, and it's kind of like, I'll fix it, mom. I'll fix it, dad. We're gonna do
Yeah.
something, and he
I
knows something.
I think it's a real reaction from a kid when they find out their parents been hurt. So I loved it. I loved it.
And he also had a kick-ass line. Let's look at this line. Roy had one of the coolest. We're kind of going line crazy right now because
Hey.
There's some good clips in there.
Lauren has this kick at in 29. Lauren has the best
Lauren
line I've
is so
had
awesome.
on Blissful. So he says, "Get your damn hands off my mother, you bitch!" And I was just like,
I loved it.
yes, it was one of those. Yes,
It was a final moment. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was like one of those good ones. Okay, I'm sorry. We just like a little moments like that. Anyway,
We tangent a lot.
the next scene was really, Josh and Mason have, to me, a very, like, Kelly and me go back and forth on who's gonna end up with
Everyone goes back and forth.
Well, everybody does. All our friends who write and talk to us about Blissful, they do. And I'm at the point where I know who I want. I won't say who I want, but I'm getting to that point where I feel like I know where we should end it, who should end up with who. Romance. It was probably one of the more steamier scenes we've done. It was rough. It was supposed to be primal feeling, like they couldn't. It was nothing that could be denied in this moment.
Yeah, and I think it came off like that.
And,
Passion, heat of the moment. It was awesome, and it was
one
ruined.
of the funniest parts of this episode was when Jackson kind of
walks
in on him, and he's like, "Oh my God, is this what you guys do? Oh, my eyes! Oh, it's kind of like one of those funny. It was made for laugh.
It was funny.
But then it turns around and it goes into a way more serious tone because Jackson finally confesses to someone that he cheated on Danny, and of course he just caught his best friend cheating on his wife's cousin. So it's kind of like all really tangled mess if you really look at it. So it's really.
I think like Mason's like, don't tell her, like.
Yeah. So like, I guess they kind of got each other back.
Yeah.
At the top of the episode, we kind of touched on Ophelia's slip into insanity, and it was fun. It was just fun to write. It was fun to write her.
You didn't mix in Jackson's spelling plan.
Yeah, and
readers thought that was funny. So
yeah. So like, it was just really fun to write. It really was. I don't really have much more to say, but just watch out for Ophelia. We can't say this. She's now exited the series for a short period of
Forbes took care of her. Forbes sent her to Argentina.
As you see,
for some R&R.
Ophelia, when she returns, she'll be a guest starring character, but I can tell you when she does return, it won't be pretty. And let's just say that, and I'll leave it at that. Rainier and Logan, we got a lot of positive feedback on them, and I'm happy for that. And I won't say why, but I'm happy.
Yes. It was a good, another serious business scene, but at the same time, Logan's been scorned too. I thought it was interesting that most of the women in this episode have been scorned in some way or another.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I agree. Or that one of the men have been scorned.
Yes.
Ryan and Arya's scene was an extension of the first scene where we felt like it was good to have Rory. I said Ryan and Arya.
That'd be weird. They're brother and sister. Well, I guess we could go flowers in the attic.
Well, so it was just a natural first scene, and he's like, I gotta help my mom.
Yeah.
And it also had a small little blip where you kind of saw the cracks starting to be formed, and I think a lot of people picked up on it.
Yeah.
Rory's kind of ready to get his freak on, and Arya's kind of not, and we'll see what happens with that. And you will get a little more spice for all the readers who are kind of looking for spice. I'm kidding. This was one of my other favorite episodes. Josh and Simon, whenever they're in the scene together, you know you're gonna get like funny, or witty, or sexy, or something. You're gonna get all of that.
Simon's
dangerous.
Like one of my favorites to write.
and it was just one of those things where they continue to figure out and work together and figure out how to rip apart Zach and Mason, and it's actually working if you're paying attention.
Yes.
This is a Danny and Jackson scene. I'm just not sure which one. Oh, this is the scene that we got so much flack for. Oh
yes, we got it.
Oh my god, we got so much flack for this scene. Well, Jackson's little naughty plan is to trap Danny with a pregnancy to keep her from running away from him. And we get this whole I'm off the pill bit, and
but does she go off the pill?
Yeah,
you'll have to read in season 2.
It's a lot of drama
for them.
And I just want everybody to know. Well, since we're going right into since you guys have read the next episode, so you know what's gonna happen. But the sex tape is coming out, and it's gonna be ugly. This is John and Cassie. Oh, this is another thing. We got a lot of like, how could you guys? No, we want them. And it was one of those. It was a great moment where you got Cassie at her fearful. Cassie's scared of love, and that's one thing I feel like Kelly's writing perfectly. And I think the blue bloodness of her last scene with her mother, like, you're not gonna be with this damn cop, and then it amplified on Cassie a lot, and it made her look at everything kind of different, and she kind of running away from John at the moment, which I see. And John's like, I'm falling in love with you. He said, he had another great
He's like, I won't do what I do with Danny again.
No, that wasn't a good line. What was it?
What was it? I'm trying to be your man if you can't handle that.
Yeah, he was like, I'm trying to be your man.
Who turned down Jeremy Renner? Apparently only Cassie.
Yes. Go, dude. Then we have another. This is the first time we actually get that where one set of characters, which is Brighton and Selena, get 2 back-to-back sex scenes. And the reason why we did that was
they waited a long time.
We waited a while. We wanted to celebrate that their fans got their moment, and
yeah,
it was their moment, and it was actually kind of sad. Then, now this is my favorite scene of the episode because I get to write Lauren. I got to write Lauren.
Lauren.
In a way. But it was Talia's scene, and she was watching. She's all beaten up, and I kind of touched on that where she kind of looked at herself in the mirror when she's all beaten up. She starts to read Lauren's diary, which is like
Miss Lauren and her secrets.
It's really mysterious. We drop a lot of good clues. It's a prison. I'm gonna give y'all little things that you should be taking up on. Lauren was married in 1990.
By the way, this is years after Walter's dead, so everyone knows.
This is after Walter's death. She was married in 1990, but she's not married now. To somebody that's in a prison, that was obviously in prison, which is very, very weird. She was in Florida, and she said, "I love you, baby," and she wasn't talking to her.
Give me that.
Her lover. I will say that she wasn't talking.
Go play
to her
doggies.
lover.
Okay.
I will say that.
Dogs.
And then at the end, she says a P.S. and it says Fraser Pub is love. Look underneath and you'll find all that you need. Cool.
Yes, this feud will be epic and amazing. We've been building. There's a reason we had Jackson and Danny get married. Okay.
Yeah. It was not It wasn't that we didn't. It was a thought out move.
Yes.
And then we get to the meat of the episode of this scene, which was Forbes and Talia, and he once again he threatens her this time.
And he's like, "I gotcha."
Maybe Talia should have listened.
He's such a bastard.
So it's one of those moments where it gets really kind of creepy and scary, and once again Forbes is on his creeper mode.
He's a creeper.
So I think you can go do the next episode. We can go a little faster.
Yeah. 29. Everyone wants to rule their. I thought this worked really good for a theme song, just because there's so many power plays. There's power plays. Like there's like some backstabbing going on.
It is. I mean, I like power moments.
Philip and Forbes. I really like. Okay, first of all, making Orc, Philip, and like Forbes and Audrey's son was like the best thing we ever did.
Agreed.
And I'm really happy. Like this showed like how twisted their relationship is.
Agreed.
And that technically Philip cannot inherit because he's a bastard, and Forbes is very old school mystery. But more so, he wants his kids at work for his company. Like. Anyway, and there's mention of Lex in there, and Lex does appear in the finale. Richard Madden. Anyway.
We love him. Yum.
He's hot. Anyway.
Yum.
And I know, like, Chris and I really enjoyed writing this scene. It was a lot of fun and a lot of, like that darker moment where Phillips just is like, I want my dude. If you're not going to give that to me, guess what? You're not going to get my mother. And then it's revealed Forbes is still in love with Audrey. Who knew?
Who knew?
Anyway, I thought it was a really great scene.
Well, Philip knew.
Well, Philip knew, because he's Philip. But, it was really good, and I really enjoyed it. What was the next one? Oh yeah, Greer arrived! Okay, I loved writing this scene.
I did too.
It was like really sweet and romantic, and then like Danny gets a call about the pub that no one can reach her brother, aka Dylan's gone and Brandon's off springing their mother from the insanity ward. But she gets this call and they're round two is the end. Interrupted, fam. Sorry. And Jackson's like, okay, whatever, I'll go with you. And then Greer shows up. Because you know Greer is just threatened by Forbes and decides Jackson can fix it. And I love that we finally got to have, like, Greer and Danny have this, like, little showdown in the living room, finally.
Oh, that's not their showdown.
I know, but it's a hint. Like, it's a hint. They do not like each other. And that sex tape, Jackson's thought about
later
it.
down the line we can talk about this too. Agnes said something in this episode which was really profound. Crane women do not like Frasier
women. It's just, that's how it is.
So, that was an interesting little moment. Okay.
And I liked it, and then Greer leaves, and I'll admit it, my husband and I got tears in our eyes when Jackson, like, was like, it's over. And he was really sad. It'll get a lot worse for him in season 2, but honesty is always the best policy, people, okay?
Well, Jackson doesn't know that yet.
I know, but again, I like that one of the things that we did kind of change when we were writing was that we did decide to have the sex tape kind of just like come out at the end of the season. We didn't spoil that, right?
Yeah, we can spoil it.
Yeah, like...
I think they all know that the sex tape isn't going to come out.
Yeah, and originally it wasn't supposed to happen until like 10 episodes into season 2.
Well, we gotta pick it up, and we kind of...
Yeah. Well, Dan pointed out, like, Forbes knows all this crap, and he's gonna hold on to it, like, as if. And so, with the scenes that we tweaked it with, I'm really happy about it, because I think it added so much more to the story. And anyway.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it. Thank God. Anyway.
Sorry.
It was only, like, 20 episodes ago?
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Max and Bliss. I love their showdown. This was another fun one to write. Like, those two sisters. And I liked that it was like a natural fight because Max felt that Bliss threatened her marriage. And, well, she did. And Bliss is a liar. And no one wants to believe that sweet little Jackie would keep Lowell's daughter from him. And that's like the most epic part ever about all of it was that Jackie is a great character. I get really excited because on our show, minus Forbes because he's a bastard, but you know, a lot of our characters are not 100% good, they're not 100% bad. They're all shades of gray. And as a writer, I feel that's really important that you gotta have like your characters have depth and whatnot. And so I really liked it. I loved this scene.
Agreed.
The next one was
Brooke and Rainier.
Brooke and Rainier, and
this was a sexy scene.
It was sexy and it was fun and it was a little bit more lighthearted, and then Brooke kind of like saunters away, and I really like Brooke. I think she's gonna be a great addition to the show, and she is reoccurring.
Brooke is. Can I speak on Brooke a little bit?
Okay.
She's kind of like she's a smart girl who plays kind of like almost like a bimbette, and that's kind of cool that she's like playing up her sexuality to get people kind of not to pay attention to her.
Yeah.
But
she's kind of like under the
she
wind.
kind of sneaks up.
Yeah. The next one was a David, Forbes, and Tess scene, and I really liked it. I thought it was a good setup to kind of. David's like, well, why did you call me here? It's New Year's, and you start getting the wheels working where Tess and Forbes have this like plan to get like David to the dark side, and I'm really excited to write David's Montgomery side because he's such like an outstanding doctor character, and funny about
could turn into a bastard at any point.
He does. He totally does, and I think Chris will talk about in 30 that he snaps. It's awesome. Anyway, so it was good setup to the scene coming up. I love the Kincaid siblings. This was like my favorite, like mainly because it was like a total Game of Thrones moment where they're like, oh, the Montgomerys and the Devonshires are like, oh, I'm not talking to Dan. I'll call Dan back. Sorry, we're busy. So like the Montgomerys and Devonshires are at war, and like the Kincaids are like, screw that, we'll just like get in there and like dark horse it, like Trojan horse in DGI, and I was just like, this is such a Game of Thrones moment. But like the big families find it out, we'll just like coast on in. Anyway, I had a lot of fun writing it. And poor Hunter is just like, I'm done.
And he's
like,
still all heartbroken. But
on the other hand, he's like, you know what? Screw that. Like, I'm a Kincaid and I'm gonna own it, and it was good. Oh, those siblings. What was the next one? Oh, okay. David, Forbes, and Tess again. David and Forbes are just brothers that hate each other, but come together when they have a mutual enemy.
Yeah. And
I thought the best part about this was after Tess left the room, Forbes was just like, oh, by the way, like, Tess is not this, like, innocent little girl. And, like, totally just, like, lays out that Tess set up Sarah Cummings for Jackson's kidnapping and, like, her twin sister's murder. And some other, like, trailer park hole in the cabin.
Like, she's not a good
and
woman.
David's just like, WTF, and then he goes to the DVD player and presses play as, like, Audrey and, like, Philip come in.
And Audrey has so many fun
I love Audrey in this. When she's like, I'm not here to watch family movies or something like that.
Yeah,
and Philip's like, oh my god, what is that?
Where she's like, I know what sex looks like.
Yes. Anyway, Chris and I had such a blast writing this scene.
Yeah.
And it shows that Forbes is a badass. He'll like even throw Tess under the bus like to get what he wants. And I love that as a character. Like, I get to play that with him because I like my good people, like shades of good character, but I love my dark assholes. Chauncey and like Forbes are probably my favorite jerks to play like ever. Maybe Simon. That's right. The next scene was Simon and Mason, and
no, it's Greer and
Agnes. Is it?
Okay,
Greer and Agnes. Chris and I had a really good time writing this. Greer finally goes to her mommy and kind of tells her about this whole sex tape. And we mentioned it before. That Agnes is like, oh my god, what'd you do? And she's like, being a mother, but on the other hand, she's kind of like, I've been where you are. Like, I have a really not so pleasant past either. And then she's like, oh, by the way, how about you just let Jackson take the fall for the sex tape? And I love the line.
Yeah, and then I love, like we said, we kind of touched on it.
They don't like each other.
She said, and Agnes even said it. She's like, Lauren Fraser, the bane of her existence, or something.
She did.
Of that nature. So it's been going on for some years in the past that the Fraser girls did not like the Crane girls. So it's the second generation of not liking,
each other.
These two women not liking each other.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed writing it. It was a good scene for us to write. Simon and Mason was on me, and I had such a fun time writing it. I think I grinned the entire time I was typing. Just because we call Simon our Yoda. And he
you are our scheming Yoda. That's what we call him.
He really is. And I like that this scene was so dark and twisted where he's like, oh, by the way, Zach's drinking is your fault. And it was just this epic
showdown.
And Mason at the end is just like, I don't know what to do. And it's one of those finale moments where you're just like, did that just happen? And it did. And anyway, I really, really enjoyed writing this scene. Kudos to me. Sorry. I did.
You did great.
The next one was, let me look.
Chauncey and Greer.
Oh, okay. I love this because Greer takes her mommy's advice and tells Chauncey, and Chauncey laughs. It was probably my favorite moment to write where Chauncey, she tells him about this whole sex tape and he laughs. 4 months, Chauncey has been trying to figure out a way to knock his brother down a peg or two, and he doesn't even have to do it.
Yeah.
I love that Jackson kind of dug his own grave. And it's just one of those funny moments, and then Greer finally kiss. They both admit that they have this weirdo attraction, toxic thing going on, and then she's like, "Oh wait, we can." He's like, "You're a Montgomery. I don't do them." Then they hatch this plan where he'll court her and anyway, it's a good scene. I'm so excited for season 2 with them. Because I feel like they found each other, I guess. Would be a good... Watch out for Ophelia, though. She should really take note of that.
Yeah.
What was the next one?
It was Devin and John.
Oh, Devin and John are cops. I love that our cops are smart, first of all.
Yeah, we've said that quite a bit.
And this was a shorter scene.
I can speed this one up. This thing was just to kind of trap test, finally wrap up that part of our
the worst murder mystery ever. We don't talk about.
It was also to get Talia back into everybody's brain after going through all this other crazy stuff that's happening. And
I will let you talk about the next scene because you did such amazing work there.
Okay, the next scene was it was great with this.
I know.
It really made me tear up, and it was had me almost about to cry. Braden's pain as a dad was palpable. You really felt it, he was scared for his child. And we had Selena, he became his whipping boy basically. He was angry with Selena, and because that's her family basically.
Because Lowell.
Yeah, and because of Lowell, and it was one of those really good moments. Then we got to see why everybody has been waiting for Mrs. Fraser. And if you haven't read this scene,
go back and reread it.
Yeah, you might want to reread it because it was kind of we felt like we were unleashing the Kraken. It was her time to be unleashed, and she would not stop until she was. And Lauren came back roaring as a mama bear, and she's not gonna be something easily taken down. I guess I can go into Sale. Kelly chose this song because of the dark, creepy undertones of it.
Oh, it's so awesome.
And
Sail by All Nation.
The first scene is Lowell and Bliss and Max and Jackie and Casey and Dominique the maid.
Maid. I love it.
You have these. It was this moment that I think fans have been waiting for. It was this moment of why don't I matter? Why aren't I lovable? And Bliss finally unleashed her inner
scared child.
Yeah, her inner hurt child, and Law finally found out that she knew, and we end the scene right when he finds out, and it's one of those moments where you literally feel Law slipping because his heart has broken. It's palpable. That
like his wife did the most horrible thing ever. Like it's gonna be good.
Scene 2 is another fun scene. Is another one of those Unleash Lauren moments, and she is ready to roar. And as you see, she plays no game. She literally rips Danny from Jackson, and it's one of those moments where you really get to see inside of Danny and Lauren's relationship a little bit, and you see how much pain Lauren put Danny through, and you see how much pain Lauren was in herself, and you see how much Jackson is lost now because he didn't expect Mama Bear
for sure to come back.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, whoa,
yeah, it's gonna be good.
Lowell and Jackie, it was also a heartbreaking scene because we finally get that moment where Lowell gets to unleash on Jackie, and we finally get that big crumbling from him, you know. And Jackie, Kelly wrote her beautifully in this scene, and I felt bad for both of them, and get the news that Muncorp is going after the expansion, and it's like, whoa, here we go.
Forbes is on his game.
Yeah, Forbes isn't playing, and the next thing you get to a little bit of Hunter with Mrs. Devane. Ilsa Devane, the lovely Michelle Dockery. They have this sexy scene where, you know, Michelle Dockery's a little in pain. Her character Ilsa's in pain.
And Hunter's in pain, and when two people are in pain.
And they kind of both end up in bed together. And, you know, you also find out that she's going to start working for St. Christopher's, which is, I think, more doctors on staff, which is actually going to be a good point. And maybe we'll see her doing therapy with Lauren next season.
There might be some good Frasier family moments there. Where they all go to therapy.
The next scene was actually fun because you really got to see David crumble and crash and burn. It was kind of like his awakening. It's kind of like his awakening.
It is.
And you really get to see Hunter. I mean, David in his rawest of forms and his saddest of forms. And
poor David. And yes, I turned up when I wrote this scene.
Where you know David isn't gonna have it with Greer. He's had it with her.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like it was kind of one of those moments where we knew that David would never be the same character that he was.
It's gonna be good. Anyway, I'm excited. And Forbes is a bastard.
And, Kelly, wonderful writing in that scene.
Thank you.
The next scene is Zach and Scarlett.
That's Scarlett.
And it's really hinting at his bisexual side because Zach is tempted by her. He is. He's very tempted by Scarlett. She's beautiful. She's smart. And she's somebody that he needs. That at this point, as an alcoholic, because I think we can all attest that Zach is now an alcoholic.
That Zach has some drinking problems.
Yeah, Zach needs somebody, and Scarlett's kind of like, I'm here, but he doesn't relent with her, and it leads to Scarlett like still very determined to get And I think that's always an interesting beat that some women feel like they can turn a turnip into a tomato.
They can. And she's determined, so y'all know. She's very determined, so.
Yeah, she's determined. The next scene is Hunter leaves Ilsa because he gets a call from his brother or whatever. I forget why he leaves her, but he ends up running into Tamara Wright, and that she's played by Peyton List, and she's actually revealed to be none other than Dylan's mother. And the fans are gonna, and with Dylan's mother's back in town, and Dylan in this car accident, as you see at the end of season 2, you can bet Tamara isn't going to be too happy about what's going on.
Yes.
This next scene probably was one of the meatiest scenes in the episode, other than to me, Lowell and Bliss and Max and his.
I think everything was meaty. I love it. It's all meaty and gooey.
But this one was, to me, one of the most heartbreaking.
I felt it was a long time coming.
David everything and coming clean, and him ripping her to shreds and calling her a whore and throwing her out of the house and throwing her clothes out, and and he just, and then at the end he basically calls Audrey and like, release that damn tape.
Yep.
It's one of those moments where everybody's like, well, you can't do nothing but accept David at this point. He's through with her, and she's made a fool of him.
And it was that switch that he's now on Montgomery. And I thought that was so important. I'm like, hell no, I'm going to embarrass you, bitch. And I'm going to call Audrey. And it was awesome. Because I think leading up to now, everyone thought Forbes was going to release it. But no, Forbes' plan was like, let David do it.
And he falls right into Forbes.
He does.
The next scene was probably another epic showdown. It's kind of like two brothers going to war with each other, where Philip's like, I'm going to get what you have. And Lex is like, no, you can't have what I have. There's no way Father's going to give it to you. However,
if we work together,
pointed out, if he wants Audrey, he knows... Forbes knows that he's going to have to bow down to Philip in a way, and give Philip what he wants. It was just a really good scene to see Lex and introduce to Lex. Kelly played him really, really, really slitheringly, and I loved him.
Like Father like son?
I loved, he was like a baby Forbes with like flashing EJ Demira. He was just really naughty, and I really liked him. And I loved the way he kind of talked down to Philip, like, you're a bastard, and you're nothing. Yep. I can just kind of hear his little accent and stuff. That was really cool.
I think this one was just to wrap up Tess's arc.
Yeah, it just ended Tess' arc. It was actually Devin arrested Tess at the Hotel LaGuardia, and it kind of just...
downwards from there for Miss Tessie.
It ended it. And the next scene is the biggest scene in the episode. It's also the longest.
And this was another one we changed at the last minute, yeah. And I'm really happy we did, because it was so impactful. Go ahead.
It was Lowell's complete and total downfall, in a way, I guess you could say. He crumbled. And he loses everything. He finds out that Max's divorce, that, Max's divorce was so that she loses half of the stock. He finds out that Chauncey is going to expose Ophelia to the court so that he can get proof, so that Ophelia can get custody. He tells him, about the sex tape.
And he tells him he owns Rory, so you might as well.
He hints at the big Rory mystery that's going to be taking place in season 2. And then he kind of rubs it in his face about Bliss. Like, he took Bliss from her, and now he's like, and now I'm going to take your secretary too. And
that's awesome. It's
literally has a heart attack at the end of the episode, and you kind of left with Forbes walking away from him, like, die.
It's awesome. Anyway, I'm really... Yes.
And another, I think this was probably a shorter scene, but it was one of the best scenes. we left you guys on a really big cliffhanger on who survives. I will say that one person in the car does perish, and who it is. I can also give a hint that we don't like Young and the Restless at the moment. So.
I thought this was a great scene to show that Forbes literally, like, he's the big bad. Like, he told Talia her time was up, and he didn't give a crap that the kid was in the car with her. And I think Lex, like, coming upon it and calling 911, and then John shows up. And John
arriving was just
gut-wrenching. Because John is really close to Brayden and Danny, and it's going to be...
It's one of those moments where I feel like you don't know who survives, and it's one of those great moments where John's like helps at the end, John screaming help so he can try to get, Dylan and Talia out of the car, and you don't know what happened. It's a slick, icy road.
So you have to wait for season 2.
But like I said, we're not a fan of Young and the Restless, so at the moment. So if that's a clue.
Yes.
I think it's a big, bold move what we choose to do.
Yes.
And it's actually one of the more sadder stories that we're in season 2. But to quickly wrap up the end of this, we really want to thank you guys for always supporting us, and taking us to helping us grow the series and where we're going as a series. And on top of that, ow.
Patrick wants me to squeeze your nose with his pliers. Is what you do when you have a toddler and you're recording. Those are Chris's eyes, yes.
Quickly, to wrap it up, season 2 will be season 2 will be a mishmash of some of our favorite shows with a lot of edge, and we're gonna give you these families at war. We're gonna give you Romeo and Juliet. We're gonna give you epic sweeping romances. We're gonna give you big thing. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's told us that they love Jackson and Danny. We are a big fan of the super couple era.
Yes.
At least I am. I don't know if Kelly would really consider her a big fan of the super couple era.
I do.
But
I'm a few our ship.
Okay, so I'm a big super couple fan, and in a way, Blissful has found its Luke and Laura and Jackson and Danny. I don't mean the rape man,
no,
but I mean just the big. They're our central couple of the series, and I just want to thank everybody who's loved them and love what we're doing with them. We had so many crazy ideas with Jackson and Danny before.
We did.
We should do like a before thing on the blog, what we were going to do, what really aired on screen.
I think during the break we will.
John, in the beginning, I'm going to tell everybody, it was all about John and Danny. Like,
yes.
Oh my God, we're crazy about John and Danny. We just knew that they were going to hit it off. Everybody was going to want them. And the moment Jackson and Danny hit the screen, they were electric. And sometimes you can't go with what you plan. You have to go with what's there.
Yeah.
And it was all about Greer and Jackson being this naughty duo. And we flipped it and we found Greer somebody to be very naughty with.
Yes. I think we'll have to, like, during the break, I think we'll do, like, stories that never aired season 1. Because there was some stuff we fixed. And, yeah.
I can say that a main character was going to be Danny. We were going to have Danny Rape to break her, not break her Jackson up before.
To cause problems.
Forever of consequence of what was going to happen. We had a lot of crazier stories that we didn't get to do, and we looked at the series and we said, Blissful is built on the history of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So use the history that it has, and that's been one thing that we've now taken into complete consideration. It's really cool because now we're using the history, and it's actually way more interesting than having a third person in Sloper or to have a rapist or have somebody try to take their relationship down. It's way more interesting.
Yes. And I think, to touch on it, yeah, John and Danny were, like, supposed to, like, be together, and I think, who was it that put in, most of the feedback said, like, why would you break them up? Like, there's so much, like, rich history between them, like, with their families, like.
I think it was, I want to say it was Michael or Andy who was like, they're amazing, and,
I know my husband was.
It was your husband, and it was, I know it was Dan. If you don't know Dan, it's Kelly's husband.
He reads everything.
He's like, our third voice reader. All right.
I run everything by him that we plan. He reads it, and he's like, no, this doesn't make sense. Or he'll give us, like, some interesting feedback, and, yeah, it was him. He was like, well, why would you throw away, like, them? Like,
for John and Dan.
Or for, like, Jackson and Kat, and it was just, we had a lot of, like, ideas to, like, break them up, and I think, and I do want to say probably the best things that my husband liked about season 1 was that they eloped.
Yeah.
Yes, that was unplanned, so you all know.
I can't spoil. Jackson and Danny are gonna get a huge, epic, super couple wedding.
Just not right away.
But it'll be for an interesting reason why it happened.
Yes.
Because as you see, Danny is very against the wedding.
She's very anti-wedding right now.
Yeah. Quick things we can tell you. Quick thing. Richard Madden is Lex. Michelle Dockery is Ilsa Devane. Jerry Ryan will be playing Natasha Marco.
Who is Ryan's aunt?
Yeah, she's Ryan's aunt. We shouldn't have told them that, Kelly. It was actually a big surprise.
It was? I'm sorry. Ignore that. Sorry.
Okay. Naomi Marcos is played by Kate Upton. Who else do we have quickly?
Zoe.
Zoe Reed is played by Jennifer Lawrence. Anybody else? Tristan.
Taylor Kinney.
What's his name?
Taylor.
Is played by Taylor Kinney. And are we
I
missing
think that's
anybody?
it. No, I think that's it. We're not giving away the big one.
The big one? The big casting?
Yeah, middle of the season, but we're not giving that away.
Oh, crap. Yeah, shoot. Okay. Yeah, and you get a really good middle of the season. Big, huge.
It's big.
Coming to Blissful. But the character's even bigger.
I know, I'm like, don't say it, but. So yeah.
Thank you guys.
We love you all.
Support.
We love you all.
We love you all. We thank you guys. You just got a big spoiler with Natasha. Damn you, Kelly.
I'm sorry. I thought that like it was okay to say that.
We can't like re-record everything else and like take it out.
Big spoiler.
You got a spoiler. You got a season 2.
And we'll be back sometime during the break with like an in-depth season 2 preview blog, I think. Just to kind of talk about some stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be a written blog, and we're gonna give you a little sneak peek. And on Wednesday, I think, are they getting Atticus on Wednesday? Because we're recording this in advance. If you guys don't know, Wednesday are they getting Atticus and Natasha? Right?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Oh, today's Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, probably. I have to go do it.
Okay, so they get Atticus and Natasha today. Oh, Atticus, Tom Welling. I'm sorry. See, you forgot about one. Atticus. He's a very cool new character coming, and he's going to be really fun for you guys to see. Anyway, we thank you all. We can't wait. We might give you a nice little surprise and give you season 2 a little earlier because we're kind of excited. So February, you might be seeing Blissful before you know it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye.
I won't put Patrick's screwdriver down. Bye.